Chapter 5, Part 1, Into the Forest. Well, here we are, said Apple Bloom, looking up at the entrance to the ever-free forest, looking more than a little nervous. The three had stopped by their clubhouse and now wore their key marker staircase proudly.
I'm still not sure about this,
Sleepbell stated, looking into the deep forest with a shiver, ears pinned back as the memory of the cockatrice encounter came full into her mind.
What if we ran into the cockatrice?
Well, we'll just say flash ice with us, and that'll scare her off, said Scootaloo with a smirk. The other two couldn't help but giving a chuckle about that. Come on, we'll be fine. Twilight goes to Sakura's all the time. Hey, Sakura lives in the Everfree Forest. It gets along just fine. So yeah, look at the others. Besides, remember what Granny Smith said during Family Appreciation Day? Zap apples were from the Everfree Forest. So a lot of things Sakura makes her post-its with. Who knows what else could be in there?
Well, I think that's a good point,
admitted Apple Bloom, smiling to mention of her grandmother.
After all, most publics are too scared to go into the Everfree Forest, so I reckon there's probably lots of good things in there that we just don't know about, but along with the band that we live.
Sleepbell's excitement got the better of her as he smiled loudly.
Yeah, that would be cool! We could get a key mark for exploring!
Yeah, that'd be awesome, replied Scootaloo, giving a smile at the thought. Apple Bloom nodded quickly, fantasizing about what an exploring key mark would look like. A compass rose. I couldn't help it.
Alright, let's give it a shot, but remember, we gotta get out before it gets dark. Key marker stairs explorers!
And with that, the three fillies dashed off into the Everfree Forest. Rarity sewed the patch into the recreated dress he was working on, giving a sigh of relief.
Done at last.
I almost thought I couldn't make it in time, she said, looking around the shop, which was still a disaster area. She gave a frustrated sigh at the sight.
Hopefully I can fix up the shop before Monarch
gets you and sees this, she said, or lining up as he telekinetically put a mannequin back in its proper place, putting the dress on for her client to examine. Opal, sleeping peacefully on the overturned basket, was awakened when Rarity pulled it out from under her. Giving a yell, the cat glared at her master, before looking at the design set up. She gave a loud hiss at it. It looked quite irritated, tail banging back and forth furiously. Rarity sighed.
I don't blame you, Opal.
I don't like Cheka any more than you do, but she is a paying client, she stated. She heard the door open, trying to see Twilight, Sparkle, and Spike enter. Twilight sporting a few bandages, but nothing too severe.
Oh, hello, Twilight. Spike. Is everything all right?
Twilight gave a smile to her friend.
Hello, Rarity. Everything's fine. I got hurt worse falling Pinky that one day. Where's Trixie?
She said, looking around with a bit of concern, was realizing the blue unicorn wasn't present.
She left a while ago. I feel bad for the poor mare,
said Rarity with a frown, moving a shelf back into its place and telekinetically replacing its contents.
She blames herself for all of this when it was just an accident.
She seemed to feel especially guilty for harming you, dear. Spike blinked in surprise. Wait. Trixie feels guilty about something? Yes, looking a little uncertain about it.
Spike, she might have acted like a jerk before, but she's just like anybody else,
admonished Twilight with a frown.
The only being I ever met who couldn't feel guilty is Discord. The only creatures who can't feel remorse have no heart, Spike,
said Rarity, keeping her telekinesis working on fixing up the room.
And I personally think Trixie has a good heart. One she didn't even know was there.
Spike blinked, giving a super smile. Alright, if you say so, Rarity.
Speaking of Trixie, I better go check on her and make sure she's okay,
said Twilight, looking to Rarity with a tad bit of concern.
Good luck with your work, Rarity.
You go on, Twilight, said Spike. I'm gonna stay and help Rarity clean up, okay? Yes, covering for himself and placed his spools of thread and ribbon on the table. Twilight gave a small smirk and seeing right through the dragon.
Alright, Spike. I'll see you at the library later.
Rarity smiled warmly.
Thank you, Spike. That's very kind of you,
she said, giving him a warm nuzzle. She knew about his crest, of course, as he confessed to him when they both believed they were falling to their deaths. Though, she figured out a good bit prior. But yet, they hadn't moved any further than that. Rarity preferred to see things how progressed right naturally, without trying to force them. Sure, he was a dragon, and a few years younger to her. though since Twilight had him when she was a filly, not that much younger. But he was still devoted, kind-hearted, not to mention generous. And so essentially everything Blue Blood wasn't. So she was open to the possibility. Now, you see, this is how you do it. You do it subtly, kindly, and you don't try to go too far. Not that I know of any bad writers who do. Spike busted her nuzzle. "You're welcome, Rarity," he said, smiling sheepishly, as he continued genuinely helping put things back in place. "So, whose dress did Trixie burn up?"
"One for a regular client of mine,"
explained Rarity, looking to the repaired dress.
"A very wealthy business pony from Manhattan."
She continued, keeping her focus on fixing her shop up as she spoke.
"Her full name is Checkmate Monarch, but she goes simply by Checker Monarch."
"Hey, Trex, I think we finally fixed the system!"
"Oh, good."
Spike looked uncertain for a moment, suddenly coming back to his memory. "Rarity, when Trixie saw who that dress was for, she seemed really scared," he admitted, as if feeling a chill going down his spine. Rarity looked back, not seeming surprised at all.
"Well, I honestly can't blame the poor girl if she knows Checker at all. Even I'm a tad bit afraid of that matter, to be honest."
Spike's eyed for a second. "Really?" Rarity nodded, posting a mannequin a few inches so it was in its proper place.
"She owns a lot of business and knows my work, but I honestly get chills whenever I talk to her. She's cold and distant, even when she's acting perfectly pleasant. It's somewhat difficult to describe, but her voice has absolutely no real compassion in it. Like she's talking to an object instead of a pony. But if I had to nail down one thing that makes her frightening, however, it'd be her eyes. She seems to look at the world like everything is a pawn, as if she has no connection to any pony or anything, and everything exists solely for her. You know, I could name a few villains like that." "So, in other words, like Blue Blood?" asked Spike, getting chills just hearing Rarity talk about Checker. "No. Blue Blood's more like a spoiled brat, viewing the world like it revolves around him because he's from a privileged family. Checker's like some pony observing the world, trying to find out how to make it revolve around her because he wants it to. She honestly reminds me a tidbit of Discord in that respect, but she pays well, and having one of the richest ponies in Manhattan wearing my design certainly helps me. So please do be polite around her as he comes to follow you here."
Spike shivered but nodded. "All right, Rarity," he said, then heard something and looked out the window. "Rarity, look." Rarity came to the window, out in time to see a Pegasus-drawn chariot make its landing nearby. It was sleek and black in color, its sides high enough to conceal a rider from sight. Unlike the princess's chariots, this one was not drawn by Royal Guard Pegasi, but ones like chauffeurs, black suits with a fitting hat.
"Speak up to the conquest,"
muttered Rarity, going a tad right into sight.
"Spike, please, don't say a thing. Allow me to do the talking, understood?"
She asked, completely serious in her tone.
"In fact, hide under that table over there, please, and don't make a sound."
"Oh, come on, Rarity. We all know Checker is like Satan's left toe, or, you know, some pony who would probably think that Asmodeus is too light in his business plans, but I don't think she eats the souls of young drakes."
"Are you sure?" "Trixie does pretty soon as he has an army of undead carcasses lying about."
"You're right." Maybe, maybe you're right about that. Ugh. To his surprise, Opal joined him. "You don't like her either?" he asked, blinking as the cat seemed to nod in agreement. A scrawny-looking male unicorn opened the door, having a white coat and a black mane combed back straight on his head. His cutie mark was that of a pony's head nodding. He held the door open, glasses reflecting in the light as the mare Rarity had spoke of emerged inside. She was in light blue in color, slightly darker than Trixie was. Her light gray mane was long, but kept in the back of her head, perfectly maintained in every sense of the word.
her unicorn horn emerging from the front of it, being the only disturbance. She wore a dark gray vest, resembling a business suit, and she wore black horseshoes that gleamed in Celestia's sun. Moving further out of the chariot revealed her cutie mark, a red heart with 3 chess pieces on it, 2 pawns and a queen. And if you listen closely, you hear this music! Bum 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 bum! Da 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 dum! Bum 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 bum! Bum bum! Look, it was either that or Fortuna. Trixie, you don't think she actually... Trixie's sure she has Fortuna playing in the background. Do you think she ever made a journey to Bator? Are you kidding? Trixie thinks that the only reason why Checker was ever let out of Bator was because she almost made a few deals to take a level for herself! I would like to thank Brony D&D for making me more into Bator and its lore. Thank you so much, and for me enjoying the Devils. Remember, this is your daily shout out to Brony D&D. Please go and watch that show, as well as watch the new Fox Machina series that's coming out January 28th. Thank you. Her purple eyes went over her surrounding analytically, as if taking in every little detail of them, before she walked towards the boutique, carrying herself in such a way as made clear she was upper crust. Rarity struggled to get everything back in order as her client approached, but she didn't nearly get as much done as she would have liked when Checker's assistant wanted the door open. Rarity instantly straightened up so as to make a better impression. "Oh, hello, Miss Monarch." She stuttered, feeling a chill looking into those cold, calculating eyes. Checker walked in slowly, letting the sound of each hoof hitting the hard floors resonate throughout the room as she approached, her assistant following closely behind her. "Oh, Rarity, wonderful to see you again," she stated, the capacity in her voice transparent to anyone paying serious attention, doing nothing to hide the fact that her tone was cold as ice. Decker's analytic eyes went over the room, noticing every minute out-of-place detail. "Your boutique is a mess," she said simply, making no attempt to hide her disapproval of the fact that she stared back at Rarity. I would like to say that for Checker Monarch, I will still think that Azula is doing the voice. "Oh yes, I'm afraid some hired help had an accident on the job and made it quite a mess," explained Rarity, something in her just screaming not to reveal who it was. Rarity didn't know why, but she was smart enough to listen to her gut sometimes like this. She did her best to hide her discomfort as the business mayor's cold eyes probed her, as looking for one small slip or misstep. This, combined with the lack of attachment to be seen in Checker's eyes to begin with, made Rarity feel like she was a item being examined for cracks under a magnifying glass instead of a flesh and blood mare, a feeling that sent a chill down her spine and made her skin crawl. Rarity was very thankful she was good at remaining composed. At times like this, it wasn't easy. Checker looked down at the spot where Rarity had fixed up Trixie's mane after the incident, hard lighting up an extremely deep violet, almost black, as he levitated a clump of white hair to examine with a somewhat suspicious gaze that made Rarity gulp nervously. "Yes, it would appear that they left quite a mess indeed. Nevertheless, so that's your problem, not mine," she said, dropping the hair clump and turning to Rarity. "I have come for my dress. Where is it?" Rarity fought the urge to give a sigh of relief when Checker chose to change the subject, doing everything she could to avoid eye contact with the mare without appearing suspicious. Rarity led the way to the dress, identical to the previous one, only with the addition of a tiara with the centerpiece, a bright red ruby cut into the shape of a chess queen. "Here you are, Miss Monarch. The theme you requested, with a few of my signature stylings thrown in, as always," explained the dressmaker, allowing a little pride to slip into her voice. Checker walked into the dress. once more, looking over with a calculating, analytic gaze. Rarity watched nervously as Checker looked over for the dress for several moments in silence, summoning her willpower to prevent tension from getting to her. Finally, Checker gave a smug, cruel-looking smirk. Perfect, Miss Rarity. It's exactly as I envisioned, she stated, turning to look at Rarity, though the tone she delivered praise it sounded something more like a pony bragging about their own accomplishments than praising those of another. I knew there was a reason I decided to make you my go-to dressmaker. You always do spectacular work, she continued, giving the dress another once look over. I shall wear it to the Grand Gallery Gala this year. Rarity guessed with surprise. You got a dress? You mean that? Checker nodded, smiling as he looked at her reflection in the jewel in the tiara. Yes, I do. It suits me perfectly. I can think of nothing better for me to wear to the gala. But I do believe you had a sign-up when I ordered it, didn't you? A discount on dresses for the gala. Is that still in effect? The mayor asked, while her cold eyes followed on the mayor before her. No, it wasn't. But at this point, she just wanted Checker to leave. Those cold eyes of hers made it feel like ice was running through Rarity's veins instead of blood. Plus, no matter how much she disliked the pony, Rarity had to admit having such a wealthy mayor wear one of her dresses designed to the gala would be a big booster of business. You know, I would say that Checker should realize that Rarity would give it for free if she could, because that's how generous she is, but I don't think Checker understands things like gifts or generosity or kindness, helpfulness, a heart, or anything resembling a human thought. Oh, please. As if I ever needed those. Emil Kudos, how do you feel about her? Emil Kudos? Ugh. Alright. She is giving me shivers. Yes, I suppose it is only fair. It was 20% off, if I recall. Checker nodded with another one of her smirks. Helping Hoof, please pay Miss Rarity, demanded the business pony, not even looking to her assistant. Yes, Miss Bardock, replied the submissive unicorn quickly, saying the line as if it was rehearsed for a play or some other performance, taking the bits out to pay Rarity. Rarity took the fine telekinesis, carrying him up and giving a nod. Thank you for your business, Miss Bardock. It's been a pleasure. Of course it was, interrupted Checker, levitating the dress off its model, folding it and laying it across Helping Hoof's back. Goodbye, Miss Rarity. Keep up the fine work. It will be doing business again soon, she said, not even looking at Rarity's direction as she spoke. Come, Helping Hoof, she said, leading the way. Yes, Miss Bardock, said Helping Hoof, heading for the door and holding it for his boss. Checker gave a suspicious look over her shoulder before walking out the door, Helping Hoof following and shutting it. Now, you see, Myken, it's this kind of thing that's true evil. The lack of emotion, the lack of caring, the lack of desire to do anything for others or even yourself, the voidness of compassion, of humility, of respect, and the idea that you are superior to everybody else and you just want them to suffer. That is far more evil than anything your mind can come up with. Checker gave a suspicious look over her shoulder before walking out the door, Helping Hoof following and shutting it. Oh, by the way, have you people ever noticed that this is also more evil than anything reality check ever comes up with? Rarity let out a sigh of relief. She couldn't help but tremble slightly for the stressful experience. Thanks, Celestia, that's over with. Yikes! Exclaimed Spike, crawling up from his hiding spot. You weren't kidding! I got chills and I'm cold-blooded! I know, said Rarity, shaking it off as best as she could. to her surprise finding Opal standing at the door, tail banging forth aggressively. It's all right, Opal listens. She's gone. Wait, if you're cold-blooded, how do you stay out of the winter? She asks, looking back to Spike with a raised eyebrow. My dragonfire keeps me warm, explained Spike, giving a small puff of green fire into the air to show it. Which is another reason me getting cold chills is a good sign. Though it doesn't explain how I'm able to blush. Anyway, did you see that smile of hers? Asked Spike, giving a shudder. Ugh, it reminded me of Fluttershy when he was brainwashed by Discord. Brady nodded in agreement, willing her trembling cease of filing succeeding. Makes me terrified to think of what that mare must have been like when Discord got his claws into her, she said, something not sitting right with her. Very simple. Discord made her nice. What's wrong? Like you said, she's gone, said Spike, putting his hand on Rarity's side to try and settle her. It's how she looked at Trixie's hair, Rarity said, remembering it well. It's almost like she recognized it. I don't know, said Spike, thinking about it. What is exactly an uncommon hair color? There's like 3 other ponies in Ponyville with the same hair color. You know, I just had a scary thought, but what if this story came out in the later seasons? How would Checker react to seeing Starlight? You made a friend. How wonderful. Rarity sighed. I know, but since Trixie seemed positively terrified at Checker's name, I'm still a little more than concerned, she replied, giving another sigh. Come on, Spike, we've got a lot of work to do if I want to make it to Applejack's in time to help out. Right behind you, said Spike, following her as Opal continued glaring at the floor, giving a little growl. Checker Mark sat quietly next to the door, her horn glowing. I knew it'd pay to use good old eavesdropping spell and loosen in, she said, giving a devilish grin. Looks like the little Trixie is getting back on her hooves. Yes, Miss Monarch, said Helping Hoof, wanting the boss to glare menacingly at him, a facade of compassion vanishing in an instant. Fiercely in his face, he realized his error. No, Miss Monarch. Checker gave a sigh of frustration and stupidity, regaining her composure. I'll be staying in Ponyville just a bit longer. Tell the chariot to return to my mansion. I'll send a message when I'm ready to go. Yes, Miss Monarch, replied Helping Hoof, going to do as she asked. Shall I take this rest and tell them to prepare for the gala? I don't even know if I'm going to the gala this year. Just have it put with the rest. Yes, Miss Monarch. Might not be too bright, but he is a dedicated yes-man, muttered Checker, before hearing more talk from inside. A heart lit up as he listened in. Oh my, it looks like I used the last of my gems remaking Checker's dress. I'll need to go get some more once I'm done helping Applejack. I'll come with you. No way am I letting you go up there alone, not with those nasty diamond dogs running around. Don't worry, Spike. I appreciate your concern, but those greedy brutes are easy to outwit once you know what you're doing. Checker got an insidious smirk as thoughts ran through her mind. Checker having insidious evil thought? Oh, please. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that Discord is planning something serious. Trixie panted, in full gallop after the trio of fillies. How can 3 little fillies run so fast? She asked aloud, having to slow down in order to expanding all her energy just running there. Or maybe I'm just slow. I still haven't recovered from my malnourished state, she admitted. So it was definitely a pat her off than when Twilight found her. Trying along a slower pace to catch her breath and rest, she went past Fluttershy's cottage, keeping an eye out for the ninja chickens. She felt she was going to jump out and attack her at any moment. Oh, hello, Trixie, called a shy, timid voice. Trixie turned to see Fluttershy approaching. Oh, hello, Fluttershy. Nice day we're having, she said, a tad nervously. If she knows about the fillies, she'll want to help, and I won't accept it. I know I won't. And then she'll know about it. If anything happens, every pony will know. And then who knows what will happen?
Fluttershy tried pat next to Trixie.
I am so very, very sorry that Sally sprayed you like she did yesterday.
Fluttershy apologized to Pegasus, as if he committed some heinous crime. Don't worry, Fluttershy. Sally has this tendency to spray ponies she doesn't like. This is why sometimes we take her to visit Checker.
Yes, it's quite hilarious. Oh, who's a good girl, Sally? Who's a good girl?
Trixie blinked.
Sally? Oh yes, the skunk.
She said, feeling a tad embarrassed.
It's fine. It was Trixie's fault. Do you name every animal in your care?
First I nodded proudly.
Of course. Giving them names lets me connect with them better. Makes them feel more like individuals. Trixie can understand the desire for that. You remember all their names? Yes, of course. Every last one of them.
Trixie gave a rather impressed glance to the Pegasus.
Even all the bunnies. Especially all the bunnies. Hazel would get so upset if I mistook him for one of the others.
Trixie nodded slowly.
Yes. Trixie supposes he would.
She said, apart from wanting to hurry up and get away from the Pegasus, so he somehow ended up in a conversation with. But the other part was curious at the whole she heard about this Pegasus. Extremely so. She looked ahead. Everfree Forest was still quite some distance away, and she was still fatigued from her run this far. She gave a thoughtful look before looking to Fluttershy.
Fluttershy, how did you manage to cow a full-grown dragon and outstare a cockatrice? And no offense, but you seem kind of...
Fluttershy didn't look offended at all.
It's all right. I understand. I know I'm weak and helpless.
Trixie gave her an astonished look.
Fluttershy, the stories Trixie told were complete fabrications. Don't even compare to what you've done. So how can you call yourself weak?
She asked, in disbelief a pony could actually consider themselves weak, but still be content, let alone after doing what Fluttershy had.
And that's without factoring that you're one of the ponies who saved the world.
Twice. Fluttershy blushed and looked down comfortably.
Thank you. But really, I'm not strong at all. I'm not very brave either. Sometimes I'm even...
She said, just before catching sight of her shadow, giving a cry of fear hiding in a nearby bush. She peeked out timidly. Trixie looked at her with a raised eyebrow.
Scared of my own shadow,
she added, the shy little Pegasus coming out and following Trixie once more.
But those things I did, you say, are so strong and brave. I only did because some pony I cared about was in danger.
Trixie blinked in complete surprise.
Wait, so you're saying caring for other ponies that makes you strong?
She asked, completely strong in their disbelief.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Fluttershy nodded without hesitation.
I couldn't do anything brave or strong or impressive on my own. But when I'm with my friends, I feel completely different. And one of them or any pony else is too important to me is in danger. It's like I'm not afraid of anything except losing them. It's like I'm a totally different pony, if that makes sense.
Trixie looked confused, as if something inside her head was wrestling with what she just told.
So Trixie assumes you're still upset about how badly she treated your friends.
She stated, surely someone who cared that much for her friends would still be mad, right? Fluttershy gasped and shook her head.
No, not at all. I think you've been punished more than enough.
I'm sorry, I just had to look at the audience who still want to see certain ponies tortured.
And two wrongs don't make a right,
she said, her shyness seeming to melt for a moment.
Now that I've seen what you're really like, I can tell you're not a bad pony. You're a good one who just made a bad decision,
she said, looking up at Trixie. No hint of anger or hatred or anything negative in her big sweet eyes. Trixie was completely at a loss for words, even though Fluttershy was literally kindness incarnate and had prepared for something like this.
Fluttershy,
she muttered, not sure how to react. She was somewhat relieved when they arrived at the entrance to Everfree Forest, prompting a frightened gasp for Fluttershy.
You're going into the Everfree Forest?
Asked the yellow Pegasus, eyes wide with worry and fear.
Should I go in alone? She's right there, and surely she wanted to keep the girl safe. Is it asking for help when it's a mutual concern driving on their opponent's involvement? Trixie thought. I started to clear her face. The truth was, he was every bit as scared as Fluttershy going alone into the Everfree. Besides, she knows the area. I don't. There's nothing wrong with asking for a guide. Yes, Trixie is Fluttershy. Trixie wants to tell you something, but you must promise not to tell anybody else, said Trixie, giving the Pegasus a serious look. Fluttershy nodded. Of course, I'll even Pinkie Pie swear. Trixie rose her brow. Pinkie Pie swear. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you're new here. It's our only way to promise to each other when it's really, really important. Pinkie exclaimed Fluttershy. We named it after Pinkie Pie because he takes promises very, very seriously. She always reminds us that breaking a promise to a friend is the quickest way to lose their trust. And losing a friend's trust is to quickly lose that friend forever! Yelled Pinkie, popping out of a nearby bush without any warning, causing both to jump about 3 feet in the air before sinking back into it. Not taking her eyes off her either as she did so. Trixie was sinking for surprise, and looked to the bush to find Pinkie Pie gone. How did she? When did she? Where did she? What has happened? As the sea revealed under Trixie, looking at the bush again, but still finding no sign of Pinkie. Pinkie does things like that, said Fluttershy, settling down. Sorry, I can't explain it any better than that. But even Twilight can figure out how Pinkie does a lot of things he does. She's tried. Trixie calmed herself down. Alright then, she said, clearing her head and regaining composure. Proceed with the Pinkie Pie swear. Fluttershy nodded quietly. Cross my heart, hold the flag, stick a cupcake in my eye, recited Fluttershy, doing corresponding motions with her hoof, but making sure to close her eye for the last part. And you can trust me. You don't want to know how mad Pinkie would get at me if she found out I broke a Pinkie promise. Trixie blinked at the strange ritual, did nod, taking a deep breath. Trixie overheard those sorry fillies, Rarity and Applejack's baby sisters, and an orange Pegasus whose name escapes Trixie. They got furious that their camping trip with Rarity and said that they were going on one themselves. She explained, guilt surfacing as she pointed to the forest in there. First I gasped in shock, looking terrified. The Cutie Crusaders are in the Everfree Forest? Trixie nodded, looking down at her hooves. And their trip was ruined because Trixie messed up. Trixie's going after them to make sure they are safe, but she's never been in Everfree Forest before. Will you please accompany her, Fluttershy? Fluttershy was almost hyperventilating, but nodded quickly. Yes, of course. They could be in big trouble. Trixie blinked. You took that considerably better than Trixie expected. I'm sorry, but the same thing happened to me once when I was fully to them, so I'd be a hypocrite to be angry at you, stated Fluttershy with a worry, but understanding clearer her voice. Trixie nodded. All right, let's go, she said, starting off into the forest. Her and Fluttershy both giving up a gulp as they did so.